Hello everyone. Today's topic is about stress. Stress is a word that has just entered our lives as a permanent partner, and we do not have a way out to get rid of it. So from where does this stress comes? Why are we stressed? Most of the time in our life, we just spend it thinking about the memories of the past, whether they are good or bad, or in the worries of our future, that what will happen next. But we never think of the present, that what we are doing now. Now here is the problem. Suppose if you wake up one morning, there is pain in your neck and you just go to the doctor to get it diagnosed. What will doctor do? He will provide you with the medication because there is no treatment to the sprain or the pain that was caused to your neck. What you got diagnosed was just for the pain, not for the muscle or that fatigue that was there, that was disturbing you. Similar is the case with us. We do not know the root cause of our problem and we just diagnose the problem that we see. I am hungry and my head is aching. I don't know. The headache that is caused to me is because of my hunger, because I am hungry. I go and get diagnosed of my headache rather than to have something provide to my body so that it could respond and actually heal the problem. Similar is the case with the stress. The important part here is from where does the stress comes from? What or who is causing me this suffering? Let me explain you with an example. One day there were two friends walking down the streets in a hot day. Walking down for a while, one of the friends just noticed there was a damaged pipeline out of which water was spilling out like a spring. Looking at the situation, that friend said that how bad about those people living around who are not concerned about this situation. The water is getting wasted. He just called the authorities and informed them about the damage to the pipe so that they could just fix it up. After the call, they both start walking. While walking down the street, the one who called the authorities kept on complaining to his friend that how bad were those people living around who were not concerned about that water being spilled all around, and telling him repeatedly that it was their duty to get it fixed and I did it for them. His friend replied, "Don't bother yourself that much. If you didn't call, this doesn't mean that nobody else will call to get it fixed." He said that you didn't notice one thing more. He said, "What?" He said there were few birds who were drinking water from that spill around. He said, "Then what?" His friend replied that if those birds didn't get water, they might have died due to the heat of that hot day. Looking at his friend, he just said, "Why are you saying so?" He replied, "Because you just missed it. You focused on something else, but there was something good also happening there." Ignoring his answer, they kept on walking to their destination, and the one who just called the authorities, he was just complaining his friend about that thing that happened and blaming the people living around. Coming back to a point, Where does this stress come from? With context to the story, the stress originated with the way or with the vision that they looked at the situation. It is too obvious with my telling you the story that which one friend carried stress from that situation and which one didn't. Why is it so that one of the friends was so much stressed and the other one was not? This is so because stress originates when you cannot accept things that just happen around you according to your law. Yes, I said your law. Now here is what your law means. It means that we, almost every individual, have his own set of questions in his mind, along with which we have answers to them. And when we question someone, any of those questions that we have in our programming, we expect the person to give us the same answer that we have already set in our programming. But expecting this from a person whom you have questioned to give you the exactly same answer that you have in your programming is something impossible. And when situations don't go accordingly, we end up in sadness, we end up in aggression, we end up in frustration, we end up in stress. Yes, and when situations are accordingly, we are happy. This is the common law onto which every individual counts upon his happiness or sadness. Things work accordingly, we are happy, and if things don't go accordingly, we are sad. Now here is the solution to this stress, and that is to change our mindsets, to change our vision, to change our whole perspective of looking at a thing. Coming back to the story that I told you, there was huge difference in the vision of both the men walking down the street. One of them just took the situation in such a positive way that he was not affected by what happened or not, but at the same time he was thankful to God for letting those birds get enough of water so that they can get rid of their thirst. On the other hand, the second friend, he was frustrated and angry with those people living around that they could not get the damaged pipeline fixed. Listening to the situations, you can commonly think of who you are, the one who lives in the present and just thank God for whatever is happening around, or the other one who just takes everything that is happening around to his place and just think about it again and again and program your mind to give you the exact same answer that you were expecting. Unfortunately, there are 1% people who live in present and 99% of us who just carry things from around and take them to our home and just give a continued thorough thought over them, and doing that is nothing but just wasting time. If things give you happiness, you will be happy. But on the other hand, most of the time when situations don't work accordingly, we end up in stress, we end up in frustration. And when you repeatedly keep on thinking on one thing again and again, stress automatically enters your life. Because if you wish to take those thoughts away, you cannot, because you have given so much power to those thoughts that they are not ready to leave the space. So what to do now? How to overcome this stress? To overcome this stress, it is our responsibility to change our vision, to change our mindsets, First, we need to accept what God is giving us. By accepting, we will automatically live in present. This will help us lower down the stress level. Stress is nothing but an outcome of a question that this thing didn't happen that way. If it had been so, it would have been better. This judgment given by you is the seed to stress, is the root to stress, is the main cause for stress. So, in your life, we need to be relaxed rather than to give things that are not valuable or important in your life a space in your life, a permanent space in your mind. We need to focus on things that are more prioritized for us in our lives, and that is to live according to thy will and to accept whatever God gives. Seeking happiness in others is not your part. Seeking happiness in yourself is what is required. But what we do is we start to look out things which are not existing, but just to give us satisfaction for a while. We expect them or we assume them to be complete. But when we give them time, we find out that they were not. That was a situation, that was a moment that just made us felt that this thing is complete and this can make me complete. But living with that tells you that I was wrong, and this makes you feel sad about it. So friends, expecting the right in wrong, and what is that? Expecting the answers that you have made is wrong, rather than to accept thy will, thy answer that he has already destined for you will lead you to a healthier and a happy life. So it all depends upon you, that the way you want to lead your life, that is like a person who just carries all the negative things around and take them to his home and just live with them, rather than to live like the second person who just enjoys every situation practically that occurs in front of you and just let it go and wait for the next to happen by accepting thy will. I hope you are getting the point and you will focus on living in present and accepting thy will. And I guarantee you one thing, that accepting thy will solve all your problems, rather than to find solutions or answers that you are expecting from people. So, accept thy will and you will feel a drastic change in your life. I hope this video will change your mindset, your vision, and make you feel positive and help you in some or the other way. Thank you so much for listening.